everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Auckland Trip with the Traveller. Just arrived here in Berlin Hauptbahnhof. My train is now leaving. I've got 2 days here before I need to make my way to London. I'll show you around Berlin. Everybody from here in Berlin. I'm staying in Zionskirche, so behind me there is Zionskirche Church. It's a beautiful little spot in Mitte, which is an older district here in Berlin. It's Thursday morning, it's a little bit overcast, I think it rained overnight, so it's nice and cold, which makes walking around and wandering around and exploring the beautiful city of Berlin all the more comfortable. So sit back, I've got a full day here in Berlin, and I'm going to show you some interesting sights. The stop is not far from where I'm staying. It's a place called Berlinering, which is a 1.4 kilometre part of the Berlin Wall that's still intact, so it provides a bit of a historical insight into what it was like living during the Cold War. So the wall is still intact, and also the structures that give a bit of insight into how it actually worked. So I'll take you there and show you that now. The wall, the last remaining part of it, still in all its concrete glory. So it was built in the past. So you have to imagine you go to sleep one night and then wake up the next day. There's this ginormous wall being built through the middle of your city, and you're then divided into either East Berlin or West Berlin. So pretty arbitrary and crazy times back in the Cold War. So as you can see, there's some pretty serious concrete involved in putting it up. The Berlin Wall is so many kilometres long. One last thing, and I don't think I'm making this up, however I'm not 99% sure or 100% sure, but I think there were 2 parts to the wall. So there was a part to the wall and then a sort of no man's land, and then another part of the wall that was protected in the middle there. So I think that's how it worked, but I'm not 99% sure or 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, yeah? Here we are down in the underground, the S-Bahn. The next stop on our tour is the TV tower, so get a nice overview of the beautiful city of Berlin from up on high. Here we are at Alexanderplatz, and behind me is the Berlin Fensterturm or TV tower. So it's a gazillion metres high, and what we're going to do now is hopefully go up the top and get a bit of a bird's eye view of the beautiful city of Berlin.
How are you?
Very good.
Fine. Dann schauen Sie mal ganz nach hinten und nach oben. You can look up to the side. Andererseits, ja.
Oh, ja.
40 Sekunden dauert die Fahrt, 6 Meter pro Sekunde ist die Geschwindigkeit. The journey will take 40 seconds, the speed is 6 meters per second. The panorama floor is a height of 203 meters, and upstairs is a revolving sphere restaurant. The left side is the view in the bar, on the right is the reception for the restaurant. Hier und gleich sind wir auf 203 Metern, das ist die Panorama-Aussichtsetage. Wenn Sie aussteigen, geht es nach links zum Rundgang und zur Bar, und rechts ist der Empfang fürs Restaurant Sphere. Ich bedanke mich und wünsche eine schöne Zeit bei uns. Thank you much, enjoy your stay in Berlin, have a good time.
I'm now back on terra firma, solid ground. That was a look at Berlin from 207 metres up, so the beautiful skyline there. The next stop, Brandenburg Gate. We are at the Brandenburger Tor, or the Brandenburg Gate. I'm not quite sure what the significance of it is, probably because this marked the entranceway into Berlin in the olden days. So it's a beautiful busy square. You've got the US Embassy there, bank, the hotel where Michael Jackson dangled out his child, and then you've got looking down the street there, you've got the French Embassy over here, which is completely unguarded. Then you've got more banks, and then the Canadian Embassy over in the corner there. Yeah. So looking down the street to the Tiergarten, which is where we're going to go to next. So here we are looking down Strasse Chapter 17 June, so I'm not quite sure why they've named it that. Probably should have read about that. And on either side is the Tear Garden. Now at the very end there is a ginormous column with some gold statue on the top. Now I'm 99% sure that when the states that are now known as Germany, 4 of them or 5 of them combined, one of which was Munich, they built these columns to symbolise their unity, but I'm possibly wrong. Next 2 stops on our tour are the Reichstag or Bundestag, the German parliament, and also the memorial to the murdered Jews as well. Yeah, at the Reichstag or the Bundestag, it was opened in 1894. There's a crazy clown running around in the background listening to music, so that's kind of random. So yes, key events, 1933, this is where the Reichstag fire was, which Hitler used and orchestrated to take power over all of Germany, and it ceased to become a democracy. And then in the 1995, as part of the reunification process, they had a competition to see who could redesign the Bundestag to better reflect the German people for today. And you'll notice just on the top there's a glass dome, so the rationale behind that is that the people can look in and see what their politicians are doing down on the bottom floor there. So it's, I guess, symbolic of the transparency associated with the German democracy as it is today. So from here you get a bit of view of the glass dome there, and you can walk around it. We are at the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, the Holocaust memorial here in Berlin. It's set over 4.5 acres. There's 2,711 of these concrete slabs. It was commissioned in 2003 and opened in 2004. So it's Berlin's memorial to the Jewish Holocaust. So it's been the subject of the odd anti-Semitic attack. So the concrete slabs actually have a coating that enables it to be washed clean a lot easier than it ordinarily would be. So standing on top of one of the concrete blocks, you get a sense of just how big the memorial is. It's 57 blocks in this direction and 87 blocks in this direction, laid out like a grid. It's quite abstract, so I'm not sure I get it. Back in Cold War Germany on the trail of the Berlin Wall again, and what I would consider to be the most cheesiest site here in Berlin, Checkpoint Charlie. It's full of tourists. It's just really trashy. So people would come here and go in between the east side and the west side if they were lucky and had the right passes and things like that. And you can even buy Coke apparently. So I've had enough of touring around for today. I'm going to go and find some place to get a drink and some lunch, and then take some time to relax. So I'll see you in a minute. Berlin, and indeed Germany, is coming to an end. I've got a couple of hours before I need to make my way out to the airport and make my way to London. So I've got one last thing I thought I would show you before I head on my way. In Berlin on Museum Island, which I'm guessing is an island of museums. There's definitely museums for everything here in Berlin, for new art, new history, old history, Jewish history, German history, technical history, museums about everything. So it's definitely well worth a visit, but you need a lot of time. So the one museum I'm going to visit and take you to is the Pergamon Museum, which has a lot of Babylonian and Middle Eastern history. So hopefully get the chance to check out some that history there. Here we are at the Pergamon Museum. It's famous for 3 things. Its collection of classical antiques, its collection of Islamic art, and its collection of Near East or Middle Eastern antiquities as well. The main difference and the key reason why I wanted to come to this museum over other museums is because it has a lot of reconstructions of ancient structures, so the Ishtar gates and the processional wall, and also the entranceway into the marketplace of Miletus. So really looking forward to seeing those, so hopefully the chance to show you those as well. So right, let's go. At the processional way, if you were going to go and visit Babylonian kings, you would come down this entranceway up to the gates of Ishtar, which I'll show you in a moment. And so here we have the Gate of Miletus, which is in modern day Turkey. This is the entranceway into their marketplace. Well, it's hard to believe that my time here in Berlin has come to an end. Those 2 days have gone so quickly. It's an incredibly beautiful city, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the sights and sounds as much as I've enjoyed bringing them to you. There's so much to see and do, and 2 days clearly is never going to do it justice. So if you get the chance to come to Berlin, make sure you set lots of time aside, because it really is a beautiful city, and it really is quite a nice contrast to some of the other cities like Frankfurt and Munich. Definitely my impressions of Berlin, aside from being a very, very cool city, it's definitely the place to be if you're an artist or a student. There's lots of distractions and things like that happening. It's also got that capital city feel as well. Everything, the buildings like the one behind me there, they're just bigger than in places like Munich and things like that. So it really is got that capital feel about it, so it's a really cool place, and I'm definitely going to come back sooner rather than later, hopefully. So next stop, the airport, to get your plane to London town. See ya! Time here in Germany is over. I've checked in at Berlin Tegel Airport. Next stop, London. However, the next episode will be coming to you from Edinburgh.